All right, man. I'm gonna do a little talking for the playback, but I gotta get things started. So your boy was going through my comments. How the hell do I get to? Oh yeah. And as I was going through my comments, let me see my responded comments. Right here. This is what we're gonna be talking about right here. Peace. What's up, TLD and love and peace? How you doing this evening? I'm just getting started up in here. I'm kind of on 10. Your boy got a reply from somebody in the Gullah Geechee Nation about a video. Great to hear. Great to hear. Yeah, so I got a reply from somebody from the Gullah Geechee Nation about a video. And who is this lady? Well, she told me who she is. I am Queen Quet, chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. I guess that's supposed to scare him, nigga. That got your attention, huh? Nigga putting down research that got attention, huh? You wouldn't feel some kind of way, Miss Queen Quet, if my research didn't hit you a certain kind of way. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't feel that way if my research didn't make her feel some kind of way. Now I got to turn it up. Now your boy gotta turn it up. Look, I'm early in my days of doing this, and I've already touched the Queen Chiefess of the Gullah Geechees. Don't you talk about my trap. There is nothing you can do to get me from stopping this history talk, man. Okay, I wish he was on here, because I made a video, and as we know, Gullah makes fun of the way that these people talk. It never was a word, and it kind of denoted that they came from Angola or Angola, really. But now they try to say Angola, which is a fake ass tribe they probably done created out of Sierra Leone. Okay, well that's fine. You can go with that. But then they want to talk about the Geechee part. Now you got to think. First, let's pull up some Gullah Geechee stuff, because we're here to learn as I go in about Queen Quet. Okay. Let me pull up some of these Gullah receipts. Sorry for her. You know what's funny though? This comes at the time, like literally what I've been doing this past, like literally the past 3 days, and I've been going through this for the last 3 days, and I've only gotten halfway through all my receipts. I'm literally organizing all my receipts into albums, and each album, some of them are albums that I'm gonna make actual documentaries about. Some of them are just organizing them so I can whip out a receipt on a nigga real fast, right? Like, you said what, nigga? Bam! Right there, receipt. Okay, so I ain't got to go searching through the whole damn thing. But I got 210 so far, and I got many more receipts in my Gullah folder. And I called it Gullah for a reason, because I hate that term, to be honest. But there's a reason why I call the folder Gullah. But let's learn a little bit as we go in about, for those who are just coming in, about Queen Quet. Because on my YouTube, What's happening on the loops? What's happening, everybody coming in? All right, all right. On my YouTube, I got a message from the Queen Quet, chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. I am. And don't you talk about me on your videos now, you see? That's kind of what she going at. You know, she don't want me talking about her. But nothing's gonna stop me from talking about this history. You know what I'm saying? And so look at that. Look at that. She says, I would appreciate it if you referred to me by my name. I don't know what did I refer to you as? I probably talked a little shit. I be talking shit about videos. And let my story continue by me. Now that part right there, I can't do that because you're the chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. I can't leave you out. You know what I'm saying? Why would I leave you out? You know, I gotta. If I'm talking about the nation, I gotta speak on the person. What's up, Amor? How you doing tonight? Let her live her myth. Oh yeah, she can live in it all she wants. As I tell the truth to everybody I know, and over time, as I've been telling the truth, it seems to have gotten to her. You know, it seems to have gotten to her. And why am I doing this? Because, well, she made some mistakes. Let me show you the mistakes. Let's see. Now, we're talking about the Geechee people. Geechee, right? And we all know that there is a word next to the river, next to where the people live, okay? The people live all in this area by the Geechee River, right? So there's no mistaking that if they call themselves Geechee, and the river name has been there for 11,500 years, then there's no goddamn reason that the word should come from anywhere else, right? Let me just pull up a receipt for y'all newbies. To show you that the river has been named that for that long a time. Let me see. It's going to be somewhere up here. Right here. See, I love my little organized folders, you know? 11,500 years ago, this says the paleo, the paleo society, Indian societies arrived in the area of the Geechee River around 11,500 years ago. So just in the receipt from the Geechee website about the river, okay, from the website itself, they say, hey, this name's been around here for about a good 11,500 years. Okay? So if you just take the O off, ain't that something? It looks exactly like the word Geechee. Ain't that funny? Is that just a coincidence that the word looks exactly like the word Geechee? See right there? You see that right there? Now it's Geechee. Now it's Geechee. Why am I acting like that's such a thing to get? Because this person says this. The queen chiefess of the actual tribe said this.
He still lives today.
Gullah, which we spell today Gullah, was actually from the Gola people, Gola, which came from the Rice Coast or Windward Coast region of West Africa, as we once called it, Al-Kebula. And they were some of the rice cultivators that were brought in to harvest Carolina.
So that was the Gullah, right? Now watch this.
He still lives today.
Gullah, which we spell today Gullah, was actually from the Gold.
My bad. Hold on. Where's the other one at?
And then you had from the same region the Geechee people, Gidzi, which Geechee, which we spell now Geechee, came out of.
Hold on. You hear that? You hear that?
And then you had from the same region the Geechee people, Gidzi, which Geechee, which we spell now Geechee.
Oh, wait a minute. So you spell it like this, but it doesn't come from this. Okay. And the people live by this, but it doesn't come from this. Okay. It comes from Africa. Okay. But you know what's funny? Is unfortunately for her, I've watched documentaries before her documentary. Now, in that documentary, it's spelled Kisi with a Kissi. Now, why would you change that, Queen Quet? Why would you change it to a word that starts with a G in it? Where did the Gidzi come from? Because I could have sworn that not only did I see Kisi here, but also in Lorenzo's book somewhere. Let's see, there's the Gola he had in there. He had Kisi in there, right? A Western Sudanic language, something, whatever, something that's got to belong to some Africa, okay? So Kisi was in there with one S though, so maybe it's a slightly different Kisi, but you know, I'll try to give y'all the credit on the Gola, which I really don't really want to give him credit on that, but I'll give him a little credit on Gullah coming from the Gola tribe, but really Gullah didn't come from the Gola tribe. I believe they'd have made that shit up too, to be honest, because when you go up here and you look at the old newspapers, it was almost like they was misspelling or making fun of them. Now, I do show that some prime Gullah Negroes came in on a boat. I do show that. And I'm not going to say that no Africans did not show up. I will say that some Africans showed up. Not enough to make up the numbers that are there in South Carolina by 1790, which is 100 and some thousand people just in South Carolina alone. North Carolina had another 100-something thousand of us. And that's just what was counted. In the slave population, when you look at the free population, it would have added in some more. So you're talking about almost 250,000 niggas that they had to make up coming in these boats. Okay? Just in those two states alone. So, okay. For those just not coming in, because I like to do, I like to get started when I get on so that way people aren't just waiting around. They get in the game, and then, they may drop off, may stay. And then I'll go in and, when people come in, I'll give y'all the update, or I'll, recap it, Not enough, then what's the percentage? Not enough, then what's the percentage? Not sure what you're asking. What's the percent? What would be the percentage of how many Africans came versus? Well, technically they say 333,000 came to the colonies. That means all up and down, and that means up, and that numbers went down to 90,000. To be honest with you, according to Harvard, that number is down to 90,000. I can show that receipt since we got new people up in the spot, you know what I'm saying? I might as well hit you with the receipts, you know what I mean? Let's see, we'll just type in the word Harvard, okay? Because that'll find the receipt pretty fast because it's a Harvard receipt, right? You see, where is it at? Harvard.edu, right? Mr. David Eltis, right? Mr. David Eltis, talking about the transatlantic slave trade. He's the guy over slavevoyages.org, and he says, hey, between 1520 and 1866, we got about enough information for about 90,000. You know what I'm saying? We could probably tell you about 90,000 of them. So, yeah, that number keeps going down. It goes down faster than, I don't know, I can't think of a euphemism fast enough for it. Okay, so, or a metaphor, simile, whatever it's called. So, okay. So, Not enough, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And when we look at the slave population or the black population, they said slave population, which is some bullshit. You know, they like to play games. But when you look at the actual census form, and this is from census.gov, this is from 1790 to 1850. It gives you cumulative numbers. If you look down here, that was 697,000 people here by 1790, and that's before all the importations of slaves could even get here, because it also tells you that those slave importations numbers that y'all be talking about, that's 333,000 number, which is all whole numbers. So they just kind of made it up, because there's no it wasn't 90,001, 74,268. No, 74,000. But anyways, they'll tell you that they came in between 1715 to 1808. But remember, by 1790, there's already 700,000 people here. 700,000. And that's just in the colonies. Oh, you need me to explain that to you real quick? They only counted people in the states in 1790 that they had access to. Because notice, Alabama, I'm going to stop that. Notice, Alabama, right, has nobody counted until 1820. Why is that? Louisiana Purchase 1803, right? And then they start moving west, and then they can finally see, oh, there's some niggas over here. Oh, niggas popping up out of existence out of nowhere, right? But, before then, as far as ratios go, you have a whole lot of so-called slaves here, but importations hadn't even finished. Importations didn't get banned to stop coming in until 1810. So the full 333,000 would have hit about 1810, but by 1810, if that number was even true, there was already 1.2 million counted. And that was only counted in the states they had access to. They still didn't even get over here to the black places, okay? Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana, all of that. They was barely in there. And then all of a sudden it jumps up fast. Well, that's a whole lot of niggas right here. Right? They just breed them in out of nowhere. That's what some of y'all would say. Y'all say, oh, they just bred them in existence. Slave breeding was not in the... I'm not even going to get on the topic. So we're going to get back. So let me show, because a lot of people are in here right now. It's crazy. So why are we here tonight? Well, Queen Quet. I am Queen Quet, chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Okay, she has left a message on my YouTube. Your boy's already striking nerves with high up there folks. Okay, based upon my research. You know why? Because she wouldn't have a problem with my research if she didn't lie about things, right? If everything I said, Miss Queen Quet of the chiefest, blah, 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 if everything I said was just a bunch of bullshit, well, not bullshit. If everything I said was, what am I trying to say? If everything I said was just a bunch of bullshit, you wouldn't be so mad. But it's because I believe you know why. I believe you know why. So let's see why she's mad, y'all. Let me show y'all why she mad. Why she mad? Because when you catch people up in lies, oh, they don't like it. And when you lie for the bread, oh, you might get caught up. These days, people don't get to live. With the internet, you may not get to live your days lying and bullshit, and karma might hit you before you hit the ground. So I'm just saying, if you're out there and you want to be corrupt, think differently. So, okay. This is what she said.
And you had from the same region, the Geechee people, G-I-D-Z-I, which Geechee, which we spell now Geechee, came out of.
Okay, well, that's one major lie. Why is that a major lie? Because we know that the Geechee River is where the word Geechee comes from. Not only that, I know that after watching documentaries prior to hers. I have watched documentaries that date before hers, and I watched them even before I watched hers. This was an older one, and they said that the Geechee people were spelled like this. And they still try to give credit to Geechee coming from that, but if you say that, they knew that when you look at this, people are gonna see this and be like, how could Geechee come from that? How could the word Geechee literally come from this word? Right? But that's why they had to have another documentary done. They keep doing new documentaries. That's like 4, 5, 6 documentaries about the Geechees. That's why I'm about to throw one out and dispel all this shit. But either way, this is what she said.
And then you had from the same region, the Geechee people, Gidzi, which Geechee, which we spell now Geechee, came out of.
Now, that's the first time I've ever heard somebody spell it, because even in the Africanisms of the Gullah dialect by Lorenzo Turner, which came out in the years of like 1940s or whatever, when they first started putting together the words Geechee and all that shit, Gullah and Geechee, that's when you got things like this. The Gullah is in there, but the word Geechee, which is slightly different, missing an S, but a similar word is in there. And if they playing games talking about phonetically sounding right names, well, I'm going to play a game too. Nigga, this sounds phonetically like Geechee too. Okay, playing with me, but okay. As I'm talking my shit, okay? That's what they want to try to say. Hey, now my question is, when did the word change to the spelling Gidzi? Because what these people do is they change the spellings of things all the time. That is a form of erasure. It starts off as a lightweight erasure. Let me just change the look. What you said, it was just a misspelling when we did it. You know, you said Choctaw. Well, we spelled it Choctaw. And you know, that's the name. But then they incorporate the Choctaw name and ignore the Choctaw name, and then nobody remembers the Choctaw name. And then eventually what you have is the Choctaws of today who get funded, whereas the Choctaws today just now getting funded from the state and state recognition, but don't have federal recognition. But they are recognized as black folks of a tribe, and I can show that. But that's what I'm getting to. If she's slowly changing the meanings, they've already associated the word with Africa by saying it came from the Geechee. Now you're changing the word from Geechee to Geechee, changing the spelling to have a G in the front to make it look like it. So when people look at it, they'll say in the future, well, I can see that. Geechee? It came from that? Yeah, I can kind of see that. Oh, no. But they wouldn't think that if it was the other way, if they seen this shit, okay? And they knew that. So who changed that tribe's name? You not only are you changing Sierra Leone tribe names, but you're changing our names over here too. And then you want us to ignore it. But the fact that the thing about the problem with Geechee, on top of the first thing is you got to hold on to the Geechee, because it's like one of the last things that you can hold on to that has some kind of indigenous signature within the name structure. If you're going to have Gullah in there, and Gullah denotes either them playing games about the way you talk, or it means that, or it denotes somebody coming from Angola or just Africa, according to them. Then the other word has to be the word that says, hey, I'm an indigenous, is what they try to say is it's both an indigenous and an African tribe put together, which is some bullshit too, in my opinion. Yeah, some Africans came. Who knows who made it with them dusty Africans off that boat? Who knows that those dusty Africans came with a bunch of females? There are some females that came with them. Why would they let them do all that mating? Whatever you believe. I don't believe none of it. I believe some of it. I believe some Africans possibly came over. I believe if you can tie yourself back to a ship through paperwork, through your genealogy, then that's you. Okay? My folks was Indians. There was lots of Indians here, black Indians, and they left not only just clues, but books, names, a lot of the names of these places. So right here, look. So these are some of the tribes who are the original names. I found this. Now you have tribes are, now this is some of the tribes. And why do I say this is some of the tribes? These are basically your Geechee people. Okay, before they was called Geechee. And as you can see here, they say, hey, we have a date. What date are these people first mentioned in any kind of literature? Well, we have dates when they're first mentioned. Then there's a date that says, hey, when are they last mentioned? And then it says here, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm going to have to look down. I'll be kind of cooking. So y'all conversate with each other and go back and forth. I might have a moderator or two down there for the BS, but appreciate y'all being up in here. So then you have the date last mention, right? The last mention of these tribes. Ain't this funny? A lot of these tribes start being missing around the time the state of Carolina starts to be formed. Because before the state of Carolina is formed, it was Indian Territory. It was called something else. It was really called Florida, and that area of Florida was called Chicora. And in fact, Chicora is so old of a name that Christopher Columbus talked about it in his first voyage. Not only did he talk about it in his first voyage, he met with some people in the Bahamas from the Lucayos in the Bahamas. Let me see if I can find that for you real quick. Get the receipt here for you. What did I say? Christopher Columbus? Chicora. Receipt ready. Bow. Okay, you ready? I had to translate this. Is this the one? No, this is one I need to show you, but that ain't the one. Hold up. Let's say Florida. Where my goddamn receipts? Hold on now. Is it just searching the collection? Oh, it's just searching within my collection. Duh. Let me get out of there. Oh, my bad. All right. Search. Chicora. All right. Where you at? Not this one. So I had to so I translate stuff like this. So, and as you can see, Chicora in there, right? Chicora. This is Latin or old Paleo Spanish. So I have to take this into ChatGPT to translate it. And so I do that for I did that for Christopher Columbus's books, for manuscripts, and all of that. So I'm trying to find the ones. I might have to type in the Lucayos. Here it is. So right here. So this is one of the first mentions of the word Chicora in any kind of literature, because this is in a book from 1551 out of the Library of Congress Paleo Spanish. So this ain't 1493 after he got back, but this is about Christopher Columbus, as you can see right there in a book. And I can find the book for you, and it's talking about the Lucayans and his first voyage over there. And for the people that say Haiti didn't exist, Haiti did exist. Okay, Haiti didn't exist before whatever time. Haiti has always been around. Okay, now Haiti wasn't the whole United States and all crazy shit what people are trying to talk about these days. But let's look at this. So Christopher Columbus, right here it says, hey, from the mainland when he was in the Bahamas. So the Lucayan is the Bahamas. Okay, so let me get that straight. Let me pull that back. It says, from the mainland, many men came, like those from Florida, Chicora, and the Yucatan, and dwelt among them, and thus they were more handsome than those of the other islands. So they said, hey, the people in the Bahamas were more beautiful because niggas from Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina area, that's what Chicora is, and I'm going to show you. And the Yucatan done came up over there and done been around the folks. So I don't know, I guess some of y'all islanders weren't looking that great down there till we got down there and with you. But either way, So that's what Christopher Columbus was saying. Now, right? So you got Chicora. Just remember Chicora, right? Okay. So let me take you back out. So now we know. Let me show you a map of Chikora. So I said these tribes went extinct supposedly after South Carolina becomes a state. Now notice this map is from 1567, right? And we talking about La Florida, okay? Now this is actually from French, so it wouldn't be pronounced that way. It'd be like La Florida. I don't know how the hell that Francois. I don't know how the hell he would pronounce it. But as you can see, there's a Florida, right? There's a Florida listed. There's also a Virginia listed. What you don't see in between the two is the Carolinas or the Georgia, right? But what do you see on this map besides this in 1567? Well, when you zoom in, you see a couple things right here. Anybody notice Charles Fort? Well, you know Charlestown. Well, Charles Fort becomes Charlestown. Because think about what is a fort. A fort would be when all the YT folks are coming up on the shores and trying to set up a fort or a defense against Indians in the area, our people, not no Siberian folks. And they would set up a fort, and eventually that fort becomes a town. Well, what's right next to that fort? Chikora, right there on the map. Okay? That's just one map. It's on many maps. It's on mini maps. Let me go back here, but I'm going to show you a map when South Carolina first starts to be actually traced out. Here's a map from, I don't know what year this is, but as you can see, Carolina, what year is this? I think it's like the early 1700s. I don't think it's late 1600s. I'm gonna have to double check where the hell I got this from the French archives. But as you can see, Florida is huge, right? Louisiana up there, Virginia, and then you got Carolina just now being dotted out. Just now being dotted out there. But Chikora was still there. But Chikora is no longer there. What happened to Chikora? Where'd it go? It was on the map. Why is it gone? Why would they take it off the map? Well, why would Queen Quet change the names? You notice when I say anytime there's changes, somebody's trying to do something. Somebody's trying to change something, trying to erase something on you. Anytime you got some changes, because otherwise Chikora would still be there. And it's not like they don't know the names. Watch this. It's pretty funny. They love to use the names just to make fun of y'all. Watch. We're going to go to the map, Google Maps. And we'll type in Chikora. Look, there's a Chikora Golf Club course right here, right? You got the Chikora Golf Club course, you know what I'm saying? We just clubbing it up, you know what I'm saying? Chikora, we just came up with the name, you know what I'm saying? We don't know nothing about it, you know what I'm saying? We just playing around. We just a little game of golf in North Carolina, where Chikora used to be. But they're not the only ones that use the name, though. Hold up, Chikora. What else they got down here? Chikora Reynolds, South Carolina. I just wanted to start a rental company. And I wanted to name it after my indigenous ancestry, the Chikora people. I am half Chikoran. What the hell else? The other half must be albino, because I don't know how the hell you got this goddamn ghostly white bat. Okay, anyway. Why they using the? So think about this. Why they using the name? Why they use? Why they? What do they know about Chikora that you don't know? What do Miss Piggy on there and her assistant know about goddamn Chikora? 86 people in here, man. Appreciate y'all coming in for the game, for that good name, right? All right. So, I mean, what do they know? Because it was the race off the map in goddamn 1700s. What do you know about it? It was a race off the map in 1700s. So, what do you know that I don't know? That got you saying, hey, let me name my business Chikora. You gotta wonder. You gotta wonder. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate all of y'all. So, let's continue as we go in this historic lesson of pure erasure, because it's after this where you start getting people in this area start to be known as Geechee after this, sometime after this. Because this is like maybe 1700 to 1750, because 1750 is when you really start to get Carolina to be Carolina. Let me see. And I got other maps that show no Carolina for a minute. Like Carolina didn't pop up for a little bit. This is from so people know what, this is from the Gallica French archives, the French government archives. So that's where I be getting some of this shit. I also get some of it out of the, like this one is a map, as you can see, of Florida. Carolina is listed there finally. This map comes from 1745. 1745-ish. So now we're honing in on time frames map-wise. So it's like, okay, 1745, I see Carolina on the map. So, but around 15 and 1600s, I don't see it on the map. So now you know, okay, what is that time? What do those timelines get me? Let me show you. Let me show you for those who forgot. What do those timelines mean to me about what I was just talking about? Well, let me pull up the screenshot, because you remember these tribes that also used to be listed? Well, their first mention time is 1600s. And then when that map changes and gets rid of Chikora, guess who else gets erased? Is that funny? Is that funny? My bad. Looking down. All right. So think about this. If they've erased Chikora off the map, they've erased some of these off the map. But you know what's funny? Some of them are kind of still on the map. Let's take another little trip down to the area. Let me see if I can find it directly. I may have to type one of them in. Oh, let me get them off the damn screen. Okay. So I might just type one in just to get directly to one. But some of the names of these islands. Okay, here's St. Helena's Island. Okay. Daltar Island. You see Daltar Island? Well, Daltar is King Dalthar. Daltha. That's actually how I found out about a lot of this shit. Through Queen Quet's video, because I didn't know about a King Dalthar. Then I found a Dalthar Island website with the Dalthar Island history. And boy, they don't like that I found that shit. Because now I get to cruise around to see what they talking about. Because Datha is the name of an Indian king, a tall Indian king who reigned over many tribes. In fact, when I saw this, excuse me, excuse me, your boy gassed. Okay, when I saw this, I already knew this guy's name right here, Peter Martyr, because I've been doing history. I've been going deep into history for quite some time. This particular history. So I've came across Peter Martyr and already had his book. I just had not translated it, nor did I find the original. Eventually, I came to find the original, the one that they have on the website. And I take this one from the website. As you can see, it has the word Datha in there, right? And it's in some kind of Latin. You can also see the word Chikora right there, right? So we know we're talking about South Carolina and Datha Island in this book on the Datha Island website, on the Datha Island history website, right? And when you pull up what that says, let me show you. Now, these tribes had already been erased, unfortunately. Well, were about to be erased. But prior to that, according to the book, where is that translation at? Well, let me just type it in, hell. According to the book right here, the English translation, as you can see, here's the other words, right? And it translates it into English for your boy, right? And it says, hey, they call her queen. King Datha reigns over 500 tribes. So, let me finish that. Stretching from one sea to the other. He is said to use men of great stature in places of horses when he draws his chariots, where he pleases, who carry him upon his shoulders, and all this other stuff. Now, I haven't read this whole book, but I have gone through and read this entire chapter. And I'm going to go through, eventually read the whole book. Because it's a very, very, very early book. And I love those. And it reads kind of like somewhat like a manuscript, but not really. Like as if a person wrote it themselves. Then if there's anything I love reading more than the oldest versions of books, it's going to be writings, people's actual handwritten shit. That right there is like, oh, damn, what was that nigga saying? What was that motherfucker talking about? He wrote the shit down. This ain't no typed, edited shit and went through some publication. It might have been edited or something. This nigga wrote it down. Okay. So you got King Datha here, reigning over 500 tribes, okay? Stretching from the coast. Now, some of y'all might be like, 500 tribes sounds kind of absurd, right? How many tribes do you need, right? But you're thinking tribe is in some big giant regional thing. But a tribe is a family. Your surname is your tribe in many cases. But you have multiple surnames. So you have many tribes mixed within you, of course. And of course, when you do your genealogy and go back and do your paperwork, like your boy has done, you're going to be able to find many of your ancestors that go hella far back too. Now, not everybody will have paperwork of being Indians, like your boy does, but y'all might have some paperwork of being Indians. It just depends. And if you don't have paperwork of being Indians, it doesn't mean that your people wasn't Indians. You just have to understand timelines and figure it out. And I can help you with that. Oh, excuse me. I knew that was coming. Well, I don't want to say I can help you with that. I can give you some pointers in here on these live streams if you keep following me. I don't really do like personal genealogical work or whatever, but I know some people that can help you out with that too. So if you DM me or whatever, I can point you to some people that can help you with your genealogy. But other than that, you might be able to tie back and get you some paperwork and be like, oh, even some of these people say, hey, there's some full-blooded folks on his paperwork. But regardless of that one, there's 20-some people in my line. But I'm from Oklahoma, so basically a lot of my people were on the Dawes Road, so that means they were recorded Indians. And my my migratory pattern, I don't know what is going on right now with my iPad. Why is it not moving? I had to refresh it. I be getting upset for stuff too easy. But okay, so a lot of my people, just to show you a little bit, a lot of these people start in like Mississippi area. Some of these people show that. Let's see, like, man, yeah, I kind of have to go back. Creek Nation. A lot of my people was in Indian territory. Indian territory, whatever. At least all these people on this line. Some of these people, basically, like Tennessee, there's not too many of those. Mississippi, Georgia. A lot of people are going to be coming from Alabama in my line. A lot of people are going to be coming from Mississippi, Georgia, Alabama, basically. Mississippi, Georgia's, and Alabama's. Alabama. All of this is at a certain time. Why is it important that all these people, and what's so funny about all of these people coming from Mississippi, Alabama, different lines, Mississippi, Alabama, right? Mississippi's, Alabama's, right? All of these people coming from over there, and they're known to be Indians and all those other things, right? Mississippi, Alabama, right? And you know where all these people end up after all of them? And when I say all of them, you know where they all end up right after here? Oklahoma. Isn't that the Indian removal? Directly all in my genealogy, like literally all my people. And they all recorded, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting to is you're not going to be able to find no Siberian that can have some paperwork that shows this. That can show not just a couple people going from Mississippi. Oh, whatever one. I got like everybody, okay? Everybody going from here to there. And then get papered up. And then I got some people with whole counties named after them in Oklahoma called Love County. Look, there's so much going on in my family tree. The ancestors left this all to me to figure out. And I love it. So let's get back to the actual topic and get off of that, because your boy be really going on tangents. So King Data, right? King Data. If they were Dutch, they are the Pretendians. Who you talking about? The Siberians? Hold on, let me see. I can't really see y'all's messages. Hold on. It's kind of hard to see. There you go. In front of my dirty screen. But you have to watch out. They was giving white people black Indian surnames. White people. Yeah, I already know that. And I know, and they gave Siberian people our surnames too. I got all that proof. I got actual rolls, which is funny. I can show you that real quick because that's kind of funny. I can show you the rolls from the National Archive records. Look, we're going to go to the actual archive of the government. You know what I'm saying? The government. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is type in a little word like that. Indian Family Registers. It's either register or registry. We'll see. Oh, we have something right here. Now, it's funny how I found these. I was actually in there in the National Archive records looking up something completely different. And your boy stumbled across something like this. I said, oh, what is that? It looks like an old book. Well, what's in this old book? Well, let's open that old book up. Let me see if this one is easy to show. I got to go to one that really shows the... Okay, yeah. When you go down, oh, you got handwritten stuff. So when you got handwritten things, it's just even more official, right? You got handwritten things on a government website. Well, when you said that they was given names, well, what does it say right here? It says, hey, what's your Indian name? And we're going to give you the English name. And they assign English names. And when you look it up, I can show you some results, but it shows, yes, Indians were assigned English Christian names like Bristol and Hunter and Henry and Black Hawk and Priest. And there's some of ours, and there's a lot of ours in here. Brown. And there's some Baptiste in there. There's all kind of surnames. There's so many family registers. The main thing you got to think about that, because I'm going to get back onto the other topic, but the main thing you got to think about that, but this also goes to play along the topic of erasure that we're talking about. This also kind of helps to play into the topic of erasure, because what's more erasing than giving people names out of the blue somewhere? Okay, let's give them these names. And then you got to ask, where'd you get the names from? Excuse me. Where did they... I'll show you some more. Where did they get the names? White, Clay, Tail, White, Clay, Elk, James, Hiddle, Wolf, Johnson, Payne. I'm telling you, you just keep going through. You're going to find something that matches something. Every time I do it, sometimes people be like, oh, they go mine. What did I say? That says Beaver, Cloud, Sharp, Love, right? That's one of mine. Here, after I just said it, they go mine. I'm hearing, they go mine. Earth, Lowry, Hill. This one says White Spirit Women. What the hell? Get out of here. That must have been a hippie. Let me pick my own. I am White Spirit Woman. I thought y'all was copper colored. What you doing picking a name called White Spirit Woman? This is in the government archives now. If it's in there, it's real, goddammit. Oh, we gonna get back on the thing, man. But yeah, as you can see, they was giving away the names. And probably making up these names over here, to be honest with you. I would love to know, though. So again, we on the King Datha. Because King Datha reigned over 500 tribes. The same 500 tribes, they got whittled down to only this many tribes when the explorers decided to show up and either group them together, not write about the other ones. I don't want to say they annihilated the other ones or nothing like that, because that's just not practical all the time. They may have unalived some people, yes, but just going through here, just really slicing and dicing and going crazy, to some degree. Don't get me wrong, I've read it in some books. Some books, it just depends. Like the DeSoto expedition, there was quite a bit of there was quite a bit of mayhem and issues going on. But back and forth between us and them. We was unaliving them, they was unaliving us. But so I don't want to say there wasn't some problems. But either way, what I'm getting at is there was 500 tribes in this area before that time. That book that I translated from that website was from like 1505, 1506, 7, something like that. So you got to think about it. In that book, somebody was talking about 500 tribes around that time. Now, all of a sudden, they only mention this many just barely afterwards. And then after Carolina finally becomes a state, they get rid of all the names to a degree. A lot of these names you're going to find are in those islands. Like, I think there might be some more island names. Let's say E21. If I spelled that right, hold up. No, I didn't spell it right. And then, of course, they be changing the spelling sometimes, and it might just be one letter off. But look at that. Look, when I put in Etawan, there's an Etawan place. Ain't that funny, man? Why would this be called Etawan Place, man? That's just pretty funny. It's funny how these names are, remember, last mention. Let's throw this back up there real quick. These names were last mentioned. How long ago? Okay. That's when they was last mentioned, you say? But so somebody tell me, who decided to say, look, I'm about to build me a structure of apartments. What you gonna call it, nigga? I'm gonna call it Etawan Place. Yeah, it just came to me. Just came to me out of nowhere. That's what you gonna name your apartments? You don't want to go with something like, something a little bit more luxurious, or go by your name or your surname that you got, or your family or something. No, I think Etawan Place is exactly what I want to call it. Okay. Where'd you get that word from? It just came to you. Because it was last mentioned long ago, nigga. What books you read? What book you read that out of? Hold on. Get off of my screen, dude. If y'all don't quit, goddamn, yes, turn them off. Nobody wants to play games with y'all. Okay? I see you teaching. Would you like to play games with me? I'd like for all of y'all's phones to blow up in y'all's... Let me shut up. Let me shut up on the phone. Like one of them little attacks they did. Let me shut up. Okay. Yeah, give me a damn strike. This is... Okay, so the last mention of these things be here. Let's try this with a few of these. Edisto. I think actually there's an Edisto Island. That I'm pretty sure of. If I'm not mistaken. Yep. Edisto Island. Now, that makes at least a little bit more sense. I won't be like, why do you call it Edisto Island? At least you could be like, well, historically it was known as the Edisto Indian area. Okay. At least you gave me something. But when it's like a business that has the name and it ain't even got an area anymore, and the name ain't been existing in forever. Now I'm wondering, what the hell do these people be talking about that we don't know about? You know what I'm saying? What's going on in y'all circles, man? Y'all niggas, y'all playing because y'all know about these. And do you think Queen Quet knows about these? For those who just got in, what sparked the live stream? Well, your boy came to my little YouTube analytics, and I was like, let me look at my community and let me brush up on my update on my comments here, that I don't really be getting to. And I did not know that 5 days ago, as you can see, I commented 37 minutes ago. And then made a video after I commented. And now I'm going live after that. You know what I'm saying? Full gas on the motherfucking pedal. Full foot on the motherfucking pedal. But it was like, hey, I would appreciate it if you referred to me by my name and let my story be continued by me. I am Queen Quet, the chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Funny how they put that slash right there. Even you put the slash right there. How come there's a slash and not a space? What do people doing when they change these things, when they do these things? It's funny. Okay, I look at everything. Any little change, any little thing. What makes you want to put the slash? Okay, but I would appreciate it if you would stop lying about the narrative of the tribe. Tell the truth about the history of the people, and nothing will stop me from digging through the crates of history and telling everything I find. See, I didn't go in. You know what I'm saying? I kept it respectful. You know what I'm saying? As long as we keep it respectful, I'll stay respectful. But I can get real petty. I can get real petty now. Okay, I'm good. Okay, look, I'm keeping it cordial and cool. I'm on the topic. I'm on the information. It's about the scholarship with me in the history. Okay. As long as we keep it on the scholarship and the history, we good in this motherfucker. Okay, okay, back on the scholarship and the history. So why do I have a problem? It ain't got nothing to do with what I showed you. That's somebody else's problem. But it's the fact that you are erasing the name of the Geechee part of the Gullah. You got a slash going on in the name. And then let me take you to a modern day person named Mr. Darius Blake. Maybe just type in Blake. Mr. Darius Blake who wrote a book recently. And why is it important about his book over other books? Well, he's getting attention. Quite a bit of attention, purposeful attention. I'm trying to find showing photos. Okay. Here we go. So, Mr. Darius Blake, he's getting all kind of publicity with his young ass. Boy, look, a day over 19. You know what I'm saying? A day over 19 or so. But look at his stash. His stash need a little bit more time. You know what I'm saying? It's all good, you know? But super fresh face. Pimpled, still up. You know what I'm saying? From the teenage years. I understand. I deal with acne still in my late years. So I can't talk shit, okay? I will shit on myself. But what am I getting at? As I just, throw some jokes out. Well, they're giving him all this. Hey, a COFC student publishes a book on the Low Country family. Oh, it's making the rounds out here. The results of his DNA test prompted a journeying that resulted into professional studies of a new book. Oh, anytime there's a book going out about a tribe and it's catching steam and it's got publicity behind it and there's a young kid behind it who don't know shit about motherfucking history at all. This nigga's 22, 23 years old. Okay, what the fuck would he know? We're truly, right? And now you see they've interjected DNA into the scam, right? Into the story. Oh, well, he uses DNA, you Africans. Yeah. We gonna get down to the African part of ya. Okay? That's what they getting at. But okay, why am I still talking about it? Why do I feel like this is a setup? Well, I said let me buy the book. I couldn't get it for free because it's copywritten. So I'm not gonna find it in any archive website. So I decided to buy the book. And in the book, there was a particular passage that pissed me off. A lot of things pissed me off in the book, to be honest with you. But notice right here. The phrase that he decides to identify himself is as a Gullah African American. Now, there's a few things to say about this. A lot of things come to mind when I look at this. Yes, first of all, where is the word Geechee? You just left it out. You forgot about it. Oh, you gonna make the excuse like some people do. Oh, well, Gullah and Geechee are two separate things, which they really are, but hold up. But they don't put them that way when they talk about them on the mainstream publicly. But okay, I understand. But Gullah and Geechee are two separate things, so I'm part of just the Gullah side, so I didn't want to step on the Geechee toes. So I'm just telling this whole story about low country, where the whole Geechees live in low countries, where you few Gullah might live, right? But I'm going to tell this story about low country, but I'm just going to mention the Gullah part of it. Oh, okay. I got you. That's the first thing come to mind. The word Geechee's gone. The second thing that comes to mind is the idiocracy, if you will, of a statement, of a word, of this phrase. A Gullah African American. Now think about this. Gullah already denoted that you were an African. So you're a African American? What kind of DNA test did you take, nigga? Nigga said I'm an African American, nigga. Twice African, nigga. Coming up with new phrases, they don't even know what the fuck they talking about. That's how idiotic it is to say this phrase. On top of the fact, it's pure erasure of the indigenous side of the goddamn name. You already put it on the right side, on the far end of the phrase. We'll call them Gullah Geechees. Put the African side on the front side. Fucking Africans. Yeah, they already fuck with you by doing that, right? Fuck them. They'll never know. God damn it. They'll never read these goddamn books. All right. I done got me enough weed in my system. I done been through your books. I done been through your books now. I see what you've been doing. I'm rolling me up one. My bad. That's why I'm on tangent mode instead of teach mode, right? For a second, right? And I can't really read. Let me read. Let me catch. You said too much. I know. He said Africa. That ain't the truth. Some might have Indian ancestry, but they do come from Africa. I'm an alien avatar with 3 eyes, and my name is T. I stand on everything I say, and y'all say y'all come from Africa. My research of my avatar days of being a 3-eyed motherfucking alien has led me to believe and understand the true other things of history. And y'all need to understand me over this nigga with facts in your face. And that's why I'm here in the live stream. These people are crazy. These people are crazy. I'm just gonna block you. Like now. Let me block you. See? We all win. You block T. Yeah. Well, try next time, T. Come back on another page and get blocked again. Come back on another page and get blocked again. You missed it. You should have been trolling while I was actually on, not on tangent mode. I was on teach mode because I don't be looking at the screen. But I caught you, dummy. Okay, so Gullah African American, right? Why is this so important, man? Like I said, because these books being put out, who else put out a book that was so important to people that they made it like the thing for motherfucking, Geechee people? Well, it was that motherfucking Lorenzo. Let me go to my Geechee folder. It was that motherfucking Lorenzo. And one of the things is, it's not just that you write a book, because anybody could write a book. Like, if I wrote a book and I put it on Amazon Prime, and even if that bitch become a bestseller, let's say I sold 100,000 books. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be, my books aren't going to go into the history books for what happened to the Geechee tribe. No. What's going to go into the mainstream, it's going to be whatever is approved by the establishment, right? So when somebody like this guy, Mr. Lorenzo Tate, I don't know why I say Tate, Dow Turner, I don't know why I keep saying Tate. Wait a minute, ain't Lorenzo Tate like a motherfucker? Ain't that actor? A nigga been in every movie. Yeah, I think that's that nigga Lorenzo Tate. I'm like, why do I keep saying that shit? But Lorenzo Turner. Somebody that confirms it. Yeah, I was like, it just came, the visual just came to my head. Wait a minute. That's that nigga from them movies. Yeah. Love Jones nigga. Yeah. That's crazy. At least this fool was 54 years old when they made a book. But he made a book and he was like, oh, hey, you know what? I think I hear African words in the way that these people speak. Now, mind you, the way the people spoke was just like a broken English, Jamaican-like patois thing, because they have a lot of mixture, somewhat mixture, or in close relation with people in the Bahamas. And always have, at least, since the days of even Columbus. That's why let me show that, because people sometimes don't believe that. And we're going to listen to a lady speak, too, in Geechee, in a way that she talks. But let me show you again how Chikora, let me get out of here. Right there. Where you go? Right here. That the first time Chikora is written in a book that I know of is around the early 1505, 1506, whatever time this book came out. Time frame. Or did this book come 1551? This might be the book from 1551, but that's still pretty early. 50 years after Columbus. Talking about Columbus's voyages. And Columbus went to Chicora, or he didn't go to Chicora because he never hit the mainland. He was in the Bahamas. And in the Bahamas, he said, hey, I'm down here kicking it in the Bahamas, man. And in the Bahamas, other men came. While I was here, people came from Florida. Okay, there would be Tequesta Indians, Calusa Indians, other ones, whatever. Chicora, which would be South Carolina's your Geechees, right? Or your 500 tribes that was King Datha reigned over at that time, which would be Kusais, Itawais, the other names that we saw, Hoyas, like the Georgetown Hoyas. That wasn't one of them. Yes, Yucatan. They playing in your face, playing in your face. The Hoyas, and then the Yucatan. So I'm not surprised that when I listen to these people speak, and I'm gonna let you hear one of them speak, that the first time when I first started doing my research, I said, "Hey man, these people sound like." You see, people sound like a little bit like they come from the Bahamas a little bit. And people believe me, and some people thought I was over exaggerating. But let's see.
Geechee, you know, like people can't spread their words out the way you want to do it, but it's something, you know, as we age, you know, because I'm 77 years old now, and as I speak, I know sometimes it come out wrong, but you know, you want to put it in place, but you know, it's hard for me to do it, you know. I mean, went that far in school. I only went to 6th grade, graduated from 6th grade. Like 6th grade, we had to go in the field and work. And I raised up by stepfather, okay? And me and my 3 sisters, we had to, you know, get in the field or if we want anything. But my word, I don't know, it seems like so hard to come out, you know? You see that little girl, she correct me all the time. No, Grandma, you know, I don't understand you too good, Grandma. I said, what do you mean you can't understand me? You can understand other things, right? You can understand me. No, Grandma, I don't understand you. Anything for a while. Yeah, something. Some of them, yeah, they call me from, if I'm from Africa or from, you know, I'm not from Africa. Tell them I'm a full-blooded American. As long as I can speak to, you know, the people can.
Told your ass. She ain't from no Africa, okay? She's a full-blooded American. What you mean, okay? But you can kind of hear in her voice. And let's listen to some others that were... Now, these people are on a documentary that I seen. Here's a couple of them. Let's see. They playing in on the African story, but anyway.
His name, Monday, gives a hint of the strong spice of Africa that seasons her life.
I know, but I don't know what you call them, so. I don't even know. All I know is name Monday. Yeah. That big name Guinea.
Yeah, Monday Brown.
Monday Brown.
Yeah,
but good old Monday Brown.
Yeah, he was a working man, too.
Yes, so rough.
You were saying why they...
Now, hers is kind of hard, so we're going to go because she's older. You know, when you get older, you kind of start to, you know, your voice is a little bit harder to understand a little bit, especially because it gets hoarse and stuff. But let me find the other dude that was talking.
Ancient. Big houses.
Might have been a little sooner.
face the death of their loved ones.
No, not that. Didn't I record those?
South Carolina.
Here's another lady, but
My grandmother, Morrison,
she's older too.
yeah, she used to teach us different things. I guess she learned it from her old appearance. In Eugenia D's garden, some rice, the Gullah revealed even more important connections to Sierra Leone. Yeah, my grandmother, she always talk about, you know, how they had to work hard. But she didn't come from Africa, but her parents campfires.
Now, that's some bullshit.
And when they first came over there, used to work on these rice plantations, plant the rice. And, you know, when they plant the rice, they had to harvest it. When they harvest it, they had to cut it with a hook. They hook it in. And they have to take some like I don't know what you call it. There's two pieces. They'll rub in the middle and beat it off. They have to beat it off to put it in the wrong. They cut a hole in the block.
So, like, it ain't really island, but it's island-ish. It's broken English. There's another dude that's speaking it that was like a younger dude I wanted y'all to hear. Not him. He be bullshitting. But I can't remember where the hell is that?
The smallest boy said,
Souls torn from their native land.
As you can see, I done watched a lot of documentaries. I got a lot of stuff. She sounded Cajun. Yeah, a little bit too. Probably a little bit of that, because a lot of that influence down there, all in the Gulf, people was kind of somewhat interconnected to a degree. That Gulf of it just makes sense. It's not that hard to move around the Gulf, and people would have been in boats more than cars. Nobody had cars like that back then. They would have been in boats, canoes, stuff like that. So yeah, I can definitely see that. So you know, these people have had that kind of influence for quite some time. And I'm saying all that because these people are these tribes that these people are erasing. You know, again, I had translated this book. That's where I found that it was 500 tribes. And what I was trying to explain earlier is you think about 500 tribes sounding like a big thing, but really 500 tribes is like 500 families. And now if you think about 500 families in a city, it don't sound that bad because there's thousands and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people in a goddamn city. You know what I'm saying? And that's in a small square, I mean, not small, but a certain area of space. So it's not hard to think, man, that could be like 500 tribes. You know, and this dude was reigning over all 500 of those. And then when YT folks get here, they ain't trying to go through and get all them tribe names. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, okay, in many cases, what I recognize is they'll go by a name that y'all either say, if it's something y'all say a lot, y'all all say this, or your tribe speaks a certain language. Oh, all of these people speak Geechee or Muskogean. So they will call them this kind of people, or give that a name to those people who speak this name to those people who speak Muskogean or whatever. Or they might go by some of the bigger names of the bigger tribes, like your Shatais and stuff that were really big, which they write about being really big. They'll go by those because they can it's already big and known. But like all them little small tribes, they wasn't trying to play around with all that. You know what I'm saying? So they already start going through deleting them. You know what I'm saying? And putting in a little bit of erasure. Now you first got to start thinking. When do these people start going from being known as 500 tribal names to all of a sudden being known as just this many names in the 1500s? And then when do they go from being known as this many names to being known as Geechee? See how we take it step by step? When do the people, if you start from modern day times, it's Gullah Geechee. They did, well, modern, it's Gullah African American now, if you really want to play games. From Gullah African American, it goes from Gullah Geechee. From Gullah Geechee, it goes back, it was either Gullah or Geechee, mostly just Geechee. Gullah was just something they made fun of you with past 1954. And I don't see Geechee being used in the newspapers until as early as about the 1860s or so. Let's see when the earliest, because see, now we have dates of the last mention. When's the first mention of Geechee? You see where I'm going with it? So we know when they were 500 tribes. We do not know when the 500 tribes just became whittled down to these tribes. But we do know when these tribes came into existence and then get said, now they're saying, hey, we don't know what happened to them motherfuckers right here, right? And all of a sudden, at some point, all of these people damn near just get called Geechee or Yamasi or Catawba. I don't want to just blanket completely, but let's just say Geechee, right? Because they talking about low country. All these people just all of a sudden just get called Geechee. Well, when does that happen? Well, let's see when's the earliest. Well, let's do it this way. I'll just do it this way for you, for y'all. As I spark, we'll go to the newspapers. Because, why am I going to the newspapers? Because when I tried to research it in actual books that are very old, and if you type in the word Geechee, you only get 301 results. And if I want results that ain't like modern results, I'm going to change this to like 1952. And notice I only have 31 results. So it wasn't hard for me to go through that, right? I was like, oh, well, this would be easy for a minute, right? So I go through here, and it's mostly little journals and stuff. Most of these things are still 1945. This Geechee is actually a school. Junior college, 1945. Let me take it back. Well, I don't want to take it back, but so really all of those are nothing. And they got Geechee and other proverbs. This is from 1919. Coming in here, you see folklore. This is some kind of folklore or whatever, I'm just saucing it up for you here. But as we go through some of these, you got Geechee, some about Creole, Criollos, Gumbo, Ochre, Greece, Gria, and Santeria, 1760. Let's see if Geechee is mentioned in this book. It might be the old Geechee, might be Geechee, or actually, I do remember clicking on this, and I can't really because it's a whole bunch of different separate kind of things. So we're not going to go through that for right now. And I know that means that 1760 date is not the date because it's multiple different documents in there. That's probably the date of the oldest document in that bitch, and that probably ain't got nothing to do with Geechee. Kind of at the bottom, we ain't got with slave interviews, 1936. I don't really care about 1936 times, but that'd be interesting. The Negro Law of South Carolina, 1848. Let me see if the word Geechee is mentioned in there. Quick little Geechee look, right? 0 results. So why the hell did you show me the book? I guess because it's South Carolina. Playing games. Okay, so we're gonna come up here and we're gonna type in Gullah. All right, we're gonna play this out. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can see how a nigga show his work. All right, same thing, same situation. We don't want to see all the modern shit. Let's just go past let's just go to 1960. Somewhere around 1970. Apply the day range because I don't need to know what niggas said after that because niggas be playing games. And notice how 21 results are there. Well, that ain't going to take long either. And notice what I found. The funny things is about what I found, okay, under Gullah, right? When you go to them, let me pull up the newspaper real quick before we go to that. So we know that it's not much, right? So we're going to go to newspapers because that'll get me off into a tangent because I really want y'all to hear that. But I want y'all to see this real quick. We're going to look up in the United States. We're going to look up the word Geechee. And we're going to apply with no date range. We're going to hit search. Search every newspaper you got. Notice you got 24,000 matches. That told me that I'm going to get more information out of the newspapers about the word Geechee than I am in the books. That's also intriguing to me because that makes me wonder, why don't they have too many books about it compared to the amount of this? The books about it start to explode after 1950s, after 1980s, really. After money gets involved, after attention gets involved. But okay. As far as history goes, though, I'm going to have to search the newspapers. Well, I'm going to sort this by the oldest date, right? What are, like I just said, why do I give a damn what they were talking about before? I mean, in modern time. Your boy be going in. Appreciate y'all being up in here. Sorry I don't be looking down and interacting. But I want to keep cooking for y'all. So, Geechee, right? The first thing we get is Geechee, which kind of lets you know that the word Geechee comes from Geechee, right? But you know, Queen Quet would say something different. I don't know. But okay. 1733. Now, at least Geechee is used. When do they first use Geechee by itself, not Geechee? Well, since it won't separate it, I got to kind of scroll. And we're going to scroll until we see the word Geechee by itself. Now, sometimes it'll look like it's by itself like that, but it's not really by itself. It's either the O is missing, scratched out, or it's on the other page, other top, whatever. But right now, they keep talking about the Geechee River. So, we can solidify in our heads that, hey, they knew about the Geechee River, you know, early times, right? Writing all about the motherfucker, right? It's a whole river. Why wouldn't you be? There's always something going on a river. Motherfuckers just riding their boats, doing trade, starting up businesses, hitting the river and kicking it. All that, right? When do we first see the word Geechee by itself? Well, we should be coming up to it here pretty shortly, if my memory serves me correctly. We gonna get there. If not, I'ma force it there. Okay, be like, I got the receipts saved. God damn it. But as you can see, this would be like my process. You know what I'm saying? I would sit here, chiefing and looking. And to be honest, I read a lot of these too. Like, not all the Geechee River ones, but I read some of the Geechee River ones because I wanted to see what they would say about the Geechee River and see if it referred to anything about the people or any Indians on the page or something like that. Nothing completely really popped out to me, but I didn't read a lot of them. As you can see, it is quite a bit. So when the first time we get Geechee, I figured it would be coming up pretty damn soon. I might just have to go and look at my damn receipts. I'm going to give it about 2 to 3 more taps. And then we're going to move on before I get dizzy with the scrolls. Okay? All right, so it's going to take a minute. And it did take me a minute when I did it, to be honest with you. So I am not surprised. I was hoping that last one was going to do it. You know, sometimes it's that last one. As you can see, I keep trying. It might be this one right here, man. Don't make me have to be a liar like that, man. I knew it was coming up. But okay, whatever. Fuck it. To my motherfucking receipts. Okay? Now we're going to Geechee. Okay? Now I can see. Let me see which one was my earliest receipt. Now, this is the word Geechee being used in 1895 by itself. Let's see. We can go further back. 1896, dude called himself Geechee Charlie. It's a dude referring to himself as Geechee Charlie, or somebody arresting a dude and he calls himself Geechee Charlie. So one thing you can deduce from this is Geechee was something somebody called themselves, which means it's something that the people refer to themselves as, possibly, right? So now you kind of getting an understanding. Like, sometimes it might be how the white tea folks would refer to you as a Geechee N-word, you know what I'm saying? Look at that. From the what? And from the what? Geechee Swamp? They ain't got nothing to do with each other, though. They come from, this word comes from Africa. What do you mean? Anyway, that's 1897, okay? I don't know what's wrong with these researchers. This is 1899, Geechee. Let's see. That one don't have a year. 1901, Geechee Joe. So they were still just using Geechee by itself. 1901, 1902. Dude names himself Big Geechee. There's another one right here, Geechee, right here, Big Geechee, right? So he's known like people literally calling themselves that. Not like necessarily white people calling, you're a Geechee, you freaking Geechee. Sometimes they might say it, but look at this. These people are engaged in locally known as Geechee or Ogeechee oyster farmers. Okay? So when they say the word Geechee does not come from Ogeechee, you gotta be out your fucking mind. Okay? You can't be that goddamn idiotic. Even the newspapers know what the fuck is going on. 1904 that is. Okay? 1904, another Geechee thing. I'm trying to see when the earliest. Geechee declares fire. That's 1920. Look, even in 1920, Geechee still being used by itself. Ain't nobody saying, hey, this Gullah Geechee declares, we got to be politically correct here. This Negro Gullah Geechee. No, man. Playing games. They playing games with you. Trying to make you think things that ain't really that. 1895, I guess that was the soonest I have is the late 1800s. I'm glad I stopped scrolling then. Because that would have took a minute. Or maybe I skipped forward and maybe found it. I felt like I would have gotten something sooner. There's that 1876, that Geechee Coon one, where there's like Geechee Coon. So the word Geechee Coon as early as 1876, not necessarily the best use of it. Geechee 1825, I think that's Geechee. And I was just trying to just double check to make sure I didn't see nothing sooner. But I don't have to go sooner, because saying that it started around the 1890s, it does leave a gap of, okay, because again, what we're trying to figure out is when do these tribes go from being extinct and unknown in the late 17 or mid 1750s and earlier to being called Geechee? Well, right now we have a gap. 1890, we're looking at Geechee now. So there's this interim period of obscurity. And in order for me to know even more or to see if they ever get mentioned, I would have to go read the books directly. But they're saying they read the books and nigga, they ain't there. That's what they say. But if I go find, I also can't trust these niggas. You know what I'm saying? You can't trust these motherfuckers for a goddamn thing. I might go to goddamn, like thinking in my mind, I would go to the French and Spain archives, their actual websites in their language. Look through their books through the periods of 1750 to 1800 and look for anything that deals with South Carolina, North Carolina area and read. That's what I would do. That's how you do research, you know? Somebody let Queen Quet know that. This is how you do real research. And I do it on the fly while I'm smoking hella gas. You sit there with your coffee in front of your goddamn motherfucking windowed office desk, you know what I'm saying? Paid for by the grant money given to you from the Gullah Geechee Fund. Sitting there saying you doing, I don't know what the hell you doing all day. What the hell does the queen of the goddamn Gullah Geechee tribe do besides be propaganda be the face of propaganda for the motherfucking tribe whenever they want to do like certain things and have a out and have a show her face for a fucking outing or something. But whatever. So, anyways, back to this. So we have established that we have a gap that these people didn't really get started calling themselves Geechees in the papers maybe around the 1890s, possibly sooner. About 100-year gap, 150-year gap ish. But that's what I would do if I was trying to figure that out. But for right now, let's listen to the Gullah part. I tied you away from this. The words have meanings. Gullah had a meaning. Before I let you listen to this, though, I keep putting you on the cliffhanger. Let's look at when the first time Gullah was used in the newspapers. And in fact, that's actually easier to do from the newspapers itself than it was for Geechee, because Geechee keeps showing up for the old Geechee River. Gullah's not going to show up for that. And that's too distinct of a word. So we're going to look up, and we're looking it up by the oldest first, right? Gullah, 1776. Now, they're talking about Gullah country. Now, they're saying that some of these say like some Gullah Negroes may have came in, or they're talking about Gullah country, or a Negro fellow of the Gullah country says his name is Tom, but his tells is whatever. Now, this is 1776. Late times in the end of slavery, the end of slavery, 1865, or the end of the slavery, the importation ban of slaves from Africa ended in 1808. So the first time you get the word Gullah used in the newspapers referring to a person that it either means he came from the Gullah country, which what is the Gullah country? Are they making fun of an Angolan person, or do they not know how to spell Angola? Are they just making fun of a black Indian, calling him a Gullah? What are they doing? Well, you don't know. You really can't know because it's a newspaper and it's just kind of speculative. It's not necessarily hard facts in the newspaper, right? But decently hard. They're like toilet paper hard. You know? Facts wise. Yeah, right. Let's go back. So let's see Gullah. That's 1776. Same thing. You'll get the same thing. Some Gullah countries, same thing. It's the same. A lot of times you'll have a reprint of the same thing. Now this one says Gullah Town. This is 1806. So it skips forward 1806. You got Gullah Town. And it says, all that lot of land situated on the lower part of King Street, known by the name of Gullah Town, formerly the property of Mrs. Varnell, being 50 feet number, blah, 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 some of the sort. I'd have to look more into it. What do you mean Gullah Town? What does Gullah mean? You know what I mean? And now here is a one that I saved, and it shows that, hey, this is 1806, right before 1808. Before the importation of slavery is banned, and you got somebody say, hey, here's some Gullah Negroes coming in. So and from Congo and Gullah. Now, is Gullah what they say? So what they would say is that they are Liberian tribes coming from Liberia, Gola and Kisi. Now, I'm not going to say that none came from Gola. I've seen maybe one or two. Well, we'll get to that. But for the most part, that's what they would say. But newspaper-wise, when you look at the map, if they say that they got them from the Congo, which the Congo is the Democratic Republic of the Congo, do you think they swung around to Sierra Leone to pick up some Angolas and then went back? Or did they pick up some Angolans who are right next to the Congo? Yeah. I think if you hit this coast right here, you're probably going to get a combination of these people, right? And the reason why I say this is because they trying to tie Sierra Leone more so than Gullah or Gola, where the word Gullah comes from originally, because we see it right here being utilized, likely to refer to this. But not only that, I'll have to show you another receipt. I don't know if it's going to come up soon. Let me give it 2 more tabs. And that's the same thing, just reprinted. They reprinted in multiple different, or is printed in different newspaper clippings. So it's the same thing printed in newspaper, different news. It's not like, oh, look at all them motherfucking slave boat things coming in. No, they all say the same thing. 27th day, whatever. Yeah, no. Let me just go to my receipts, so I'm not taking up all the time. Under my Gullah receipts, or really, I'll just type in Angola. And you see right here, you have a newspaper clipping where they're like, hey, it says testimony went in to implicate a corpse of Gullah or Angola Negroes, right? Talking about Gullah Jack. This was actually a fake story. Gullah Jack is a fictional story they make. Call him Gullah Jack, and he's a fictional character. I know that because they wrote a lot of newspaper clippings about this whole story about Gullah Jack. They was like, man, this dude hit you with one punch, he can unalive you. It's all kind of weird and shit. But anyways, this kind of lets you know what the word means, right? I mean, it's kind of right there in your face. Where did Gullah come from? It might have came from this. But for some reason, they want to tell you it came from that Gola shit. And and this was goddamn 1800 or 18, I forgot what year. I have to go pull up the whatchamacallit. And even this, now that says people coming from Angola. So that's what I was going to say. I have seen some newspaper clippings in the South Carolina area that some people came from Angola. Not that many, because it was over 100-something thousand people there. But still, I've seen a couple. So, and I don't want to say that no Angolans, but definitely it says Angola. It ain't saying Angola. Okay? It ain't saying people from goddamn Liberia or Sierra Leone. But they want to tie Liberia and Sierra Leone for their own reasons. So let's get back to Gullah. So now that I've told you where Gullah came from, at least somewhat the origin of the word and its use, then now we're going to look at the use of the word Gullah as white tea folks made fun of people and the way that they talk. And one last thing before I let you hear this again. This is the last thing, I promise. We're going to look at how they made fun of how people talked in the newspapers under the word Gullah, under my receipts for Gullah. Gullah used by itself multiple times. They said, hey, this Gullah country of the soil of Africa, that Gullah Negroes, right? Gullah town, I saved that, right? Saved that, same thing. First time Gullah Geechee used together in 1946. Why did they put it together? Funny. Gullah dialect. What's the Gullah dialect? Okay, we're gonna get to that. Gullah Jack. They're making fun of things, right? Gullah Jack. He was considered invincible. See what we're looking at. Gullah Jack was considered invincible. He could not be hurt nor killed by any means whatsoever. But a blow from him would do instant execution. I said, oh, y'all playing games. Y'all playing goddamn games. I'm sitting here trying to read some serious shit, and y'all got this kind of shit in the newspaper. Anyway. And you'll get to, like right here. Now they're making fun of the way people talk. The girl looked confused and made no answer. Answer him, she said. Said the master. Das him. Like we would talk, right? So why you no talking in words? Said the patient authoritatively. Says I ask you been who you been tell Gullah Sam for come in year yesterday. So it's like, who you done told Gullah Sam? Why you done told Gullah Sam to come in here yesterday? Or who you done told Gullah Sam to come in here for yesterday? He been come. Like he been done came. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, making fun of the way we talk. Like, when I looked at that. That's why I was like, oh, okay. So y'all just making fun. You know, y'all keep saying there's this Gullah dialect in the newspaper over and over. This is another. Oh, that's the same one. There were other ones before I get to the actual smoking gun on that. Like right here, there was like, oh, lovely Isabel, you made me so miserable. I never is happy, said when you is visible. So, you know, making fun of the way we talk. And it says she was called a Gullah nigga. Okay. Born in Africa. Oh, really? Are y'all really just playing games? Or was these people really, you know? So, but now I'm starting to understand, okay, it's you're making fun of people. Then it's cool, you get here, and they try to be like, the Negro dialect that is spoken around the Charleston called the Gullah dialect. He claims that of the 3 dialects spoken by the American Negroes, 2 of which have already been exploited by Southern story writers, Gullah is most interesting, richer in color, individuality, and philological whatever interest than the simpler Virginian made famous and you know what I'm saying? Like now they're like, this dialect is so niggerish and amazingly niggerish of the niggerish, right? I was like, oh wow, boy, these people were serious. Gullah statesmen doing well. Gullah broken English. Look at this one. Says, hey, an old was telling me once of an employer that he had in the early 50s on one of the South Carolina Sea Islands, and added, after singing his praises as conclusive evidence of his superiority in the broken Gullah English common alike to blacks and whites on the islands, never in my house, in my life, sir, like sir, right? Never any more tinker eating with me and with the niggas, sir. Right? You see how they trying to make fun and write out a broken English that is just really making fun of the way we talk and our slang and our accents and our dialect. That's really all it is. You see what's going on. So now I'm going to take you done seen plenty of those. Now I'm going to get you on here. What were they doing on these albums? Well, let's listen to... Which one I want to listen to first? Let's listen to this one where they do stand-up comedy. He's going to explain himself first.
Thank you very much. I'm glad of this opportunity to talk to you on a subject in which I've been very much interested for a long, long time. Perhaps the most effective way to illustrate any subject is to tell a humorous story, and that's what I attempt to do in my effort to keep alive the most fascinating and distinctive of all of our American dialects, Gullah. Gullah was the dialect or the patois of a primitive people who lived on the plantations in lower South Carolina and Georgia. Like all of our dialects, it's rapidly dying out due to widespread communication and education. I've had a lot of pleasure in trying to keep it alive, and this discourse is in line with that effort. My friends in the Charleston area, white and black, realize, I feel sure, that I'm not trying to ridicule any race of people when I tell Gullah stories.
Hold up. I
I'd like to emphasize.
He literally just said, "Hey, my black friends know that as I'm up here making fun of this language, that I'm not making fun of this language." I had to go get me something to drink. But he literally just said, yeah, my black friends, they say that's cool. You know what I'm saying? They cool with it. These niggas is crazy. Hold up.
Realize, I feel sure, that I'm not trying to ridicule any race of people when I tell Gullah stories. I'd like to emphasize that fact, that I'm not ridiculing any race of people. I hope all those who listen
How many times you gonna say it?
lend a sympathetic ear and will understand what I'm trying to do and perhaps be amused. During World War II, a high-ranking civil servant in the British Ministry of Transportation was sent down to the China, Burma, India area on a transportation problem. He wasn't familiar with the uniforms of the Allied forces, and he came in contact with a black soldier from...
Now keep listening, but notice how many times he had to sit there and say, "Hey, I just want you to know I'm not making fun of y'all, okay? I'm not doing that, so just know I'm not making fun of you, because I'm not making fun of you." So, sounds like you making fun of us, nigga. Fucking tell him this so many goddamn times. But watch.
Island, South Carolina, and he said, "Oh, Pop, are you Indo-Chinese?" And at that moment, the Englishman was introduced to the Gullah dialect. When he heard this reply, "No, sir, boss, I was an Outdo-American."
Now notice, they laughed. What were they laughing at? They only laugh when he does the Gullah voice. That's the thing. The whole time he will say a whole story. Well, I was walking down the street and blah 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 blah, and I met a black man. And when I got up to the lovely black brown fellow, I asked him a question. He said, "Yes, the ball." I said, "Wow, you can't be serious, dude. This is what Gullah means. This is why I despise it. The use of it and everything. And then on top of that, you got a man that did a whole album of just, he said, look, I'm about to just do a whole Michael Jackson Thriller album talking in the Gullah dialect. It ain't a Thriller album, but this is him doing a whole album. Listen.
But rabbit and the wolf go hunting. But rabbit tell the wolf one time, say, "But wolf, let's go kill you one deer so we can have some meat for eat." But wolf say, "Yeah, but rabbit, I so want some meat. I ain't no meat in the longest." But rabbit said to the wolf.
So I don't understand what the hell he's saying either. Because these are the words. That cow done pissing. What, the cow took a piss, nigga? What the hell is you saying? They're over exaggerating the Gullah dialect. And you may think that that's harmless, but even in modern documentaries, I see them playing around. You won't know they're playing around because you don't really have it. Now y'all will. If you don't have on your mind that Gullah dialect has always been used by white folks to play games, that when they're actually using it in these modern documentaries, that they're really doing it to make fun in the documentary, to me. So like let's see if let me find the clip. Yeah, like right here. Like right here. Now this white dude acting like he's coming to the trial to meet the people. He speaks like, a regular white dude, but whatever. But he acts like he knows how to speak that real Gullah dialect, I know how to speak the real Gullah, but these people don't speak Gullah. These people speak some kind of African language. So he's going to need a translator to translate whatever he says to these people. Now he just needs English words translated directly. He don't have to speak anything but a normal English person. Okay? If I need my words translated from English to this African language, I just need to speak like a normal man, right? But this is what he decided to do for the camera.
What happened to the slaves? To fill in a 200-year gap in history.
So I agree.
Or then,
So the people being come,
Afro Gandir,
I tell them what the slaves.
what Toringa, Fonong, Opala, what Toringa Panta,
I tell them, say, they take the slaves go America.
what Toris took by a Bashantara, Akira, Loco America,
And I tell them, say,
Opai,
they no die.
and Tapuefi.
Kodi karami muboni sala chanfo mga chiko ka amsete ni yangu kani to ni angi kia o ambamu boni chamu no foto ro kanso ito.
You must notice the fact.
In many ways, this was the beginning of Opala's quest. These people of Paso had always known
Gola people down.
slave port.
Them people that Gola people down. Like, wait a minute, sir. They don't understand your words or your goddamn dialect that you're trying to play around with. So who you fooling? All you need to do is just say the words. What's up with the dialect change? Playing games. Yeah. That look on his face right there shows right there. I caught him at the right moment. Now I'm playing games and I'm getting paid for it. And the lady that does the narrating try to do it too. I just can't remember. I think
The culture the slaves brought
I know I caught on
in
something.
America to the
No.
houses dating from over 100 years ago.
Oh, here's the other dude. This is the other Geechee dude.
An influence on the Creole people. The same influence marks the speech of Creoles like Arthur John.
How you do? How are you? That's how you do. You see? How are you? How you do? But you see, it's similar. You see? Come, go. They all we talk it in Creole and it's an English word. You see? But we have our own different time of Creole. You see, with no connection with English words. But most of these Creole words derive from the English words.
In Gullah, for example.
Right here, actually. So you just heard how, and she about to do it. I didn't know he was going to do it after this. With her stupid ass. So you can kind of hear how he talks. And he's telling you kind of how the language is. And they use kind of just different words. I mean, it's just like no different than we all do in America, period. In different states and stuff, niggas have different dialects, different things they say. Like, you know, if you go to in Memphis, you know, them niggas going to be like saying, how did Memphis do it? Damn, what's the they stress like music, yeah, music, and I'm trying to get that approval or something. I don't know, I can't do it like that, but you know what I'm saying? They got that thing, or Baltimore niggas got that thing, or everybody got their little things. You right? I'm country to the motherfucker. I got a hella nasally country ass voice. It's hella dynamic and it cracks a lot. Okay. Shit, I talk shit about mine too, country ass Oklahoma nigga. But my thing is, we all got our own different like little whatever. So it ain't like we all speak in English, just different ways of it. You know what I'm saying? But this is what the YT lady is about to do, and try to act like she's playing the voice. Listen.
The phrase "I'm happy to meet you" becomes "I'm glad for meet you."
You hear her? Hold up.
The phrase "I'm happy in Gullah," for example. The phrase, "I'm happy to meet you," becomes, "I'm glad to meet you."
I'm glad to meet you. See, and when it's these little things that, my bad, I'm grabbing something. It's these little things. My bad. It's these little things that that you can catch that you just have to be cognizant of, because otherwise you wouldn't catch it. Because otherwise I would just be listening to that white dude over there sounding like a goddamn Jamaican, playing like he a goddamn Jamaican. Gullah people them. They said they go back their home them. No, I can never do a good Jamaican accent. But he's talking to some Africans who don't speak a Jamaican accent. So why the hell are you doing that? You know what I'm saying? And then it's the white lady. She just had to get hers in real quick. She was like, let me make fun of him. Can I actually do this on camera? Yeah, in the microphone. I've been wanting to do this. The dialect is so intriguing to me. People are crazy, okay? I showed you how obsessed they was with it in the newspaper, okay? And then they was making albums and shit with it, okay? This nigga made whole albums, and not just one, but 3 of them, okay? This nigga gave you the 3P, nigga. Who bought the first 2 to make that nigga make a 3rd? Think about that. Who was playing this shit in their motherfucking crib back in them days? Honey, I brought home the Gullah chant. It's a very intriguing language. I thought we should hear it together. These people are crazy. People are crazy. So, I've established with y'all that Gullah was a word always used to be in a derogatory way, right? So now you can understand even more so that when I look at this book in modern time, and the only word they want to even use anymore to describe the people is to erase the indigenous word and to keep the word that has been used to make fun of them for so long, and most of them don't even know it. Grinds the hell out of my gears. It's like, I can't let this happen. In fact, I'm gonna keep fighting. I want to keep fighting until that motherfucking word Gullah is gone for good. Like, there's not enough people from Angola or Angola fucking tribe that came to this bitch. Now, even recently, and I can be honest and truthful, even though there's no slave ship manifest to prove these, and I don't even think slavevoyages.org even utilizes these in their numbers. But I found this book some time ago, and as I was going through my receipts, I found this book that I had saved from before. Funny, it was saved on the on the Carolina page too. Funny, Austin and Lawrence was on that page, and I knew what Austin and Lawrence was this time. But before, when I first saved it, hell, I didn't know nothing about a goddamn Austin and Lawrence. I don't even know why the fuck I saved it, to be honest with you. Sometimes, I'm telling you, I be saving so much shit. And as I'm going back through it, now things are making more sense. But this is supposed to be like an account of the slave voyages that came in between 1700 and 1808, because apparently there are no manifests for it. So these are just personal accounts based upon either account records from firms or whatever. Some things that I see that's kind of intriguing. You will see some like they say, hey, we had some people come in from Sierra Leone, Gambia, Rice Coast, Angola. All right? Some accounts. Whether you want to believe them or not. All right? I don't even know if I do, to be honest. But I also saw something that was kind of intriguing. Let me go back to the beginning ones. Where did I go? Stuff like that. Hold on. Where you got people being shipped from Barbados in the West Indies coming over. on different ones. Barbados, Jamaica, Barbados. There's some Guinea in there, a couple Congos, right? A little mixture, huh? A little mixture of West Africans and a bunch of people from the islands, huh? If you want to go by it. So, whether or not I go by it, they have some accounts, but they still have to make up a population of people who totaled in 1790 in South Carolina 107,000 in South Carolina by 1790. They need to make up at least a healthy chunk of that number in slave accounts coming over on boats. And it's been scarce. It's been hella scarce. And on top of that, in North Carolina, there's another 100,000 niggas. And then on top of that, there's free niggas. So, it's pretty scarce. But either way, that shows that the people have been indigenous, or they're are indigenous. The black people that were there was the ones that was there. When we go look at old maps, also from that same time period, like this map in the archives right here, not that one. That's another one though too. This one, not that one. Maybe it's further up. Hold up. Okay. Like this one. Yes, so this is one, right? This is a map before Carolina, even if there's no date on it. Since we kind of know dates now, we got Virginia, we got Florida, we don't have Carolina, so this would be a map pre-1750-ish, pre-1720-ish. Excuse me. And what did they depict up here? Well, you got some people, woolly haired. Now, at first, I was like, could that be a slave? But I was like, but she's sitting down, chilling. She's got arrows with her. Why would a slave have arrows, right? And the YT man looks like he's just happy, like he's just asking them a question, like, hey man, can we get some of that trade? And it looks like they're getting cotton. Are they picking cotton for the white man, or are they trading and selling cotton to the white T man? If she was a slave, what the hell she doing with these goddamn arrows, right? But then you go down here, studying the map even further. Oh, he has the arrows and the bows in his and too, and it says he's a Carabana, a Carib Indian with the bow and arrow, smoking that gas. Let me spark one up with him, you know what I mean? You gotta ask questions. Gotta ask questions. My bad, I had to go grab me some stuff. Cause your boy is getting the munchies. But you gotta ask questions, cause he ain't the only one out here. You got these people, cause at first I was like, these people ain't got no feathers on. Are they African slaves or something? What's going on? But now all these people got the same kind of hairstyles, and some got feathers on, some don't. He's got a bow and arrow in his hand, bows in his hand, all that. So I was like, well, since she has arrows in her hands and hoop earrings, chilling, sitting down, not working, which she might be ahead of the whole, he or she, whatever, But this ain't the only map. Let me show you another one. In the archives, in the French archives. That's another one, but let me show you the whole map. So this is another map showing Florida, not showing Carolina, but I think it gave me a year. But as you can see, this is how they depict those Indians, right? In Florida. But let me show you another one. If I can find it. If I can find it down here. Hold on. Let's open up this damn banana. No, that's not it. Where the hell did it go? I done hit y'all with like 100 receipts. Hell, I don't know what the hell I did with it. Man, I gotta be looking it over because it's gotta be right here in this area because it's the same goddamn. Here it is, right here. Goddamn. As you can see, that's Florida, Virginia, Virginia. But who do they have painted up here? There is no Carolina. Let me say that. There is no Carolina. So we know what kind of year it is, what area. But when we're talking about Virginia and Florida, Novo Descriptio, right? We got some people down here, too. They a little shaded and melanated. They got YT looking features, though. A little bit different, right? But when you come up here on the actual continent, well, look at that. Look at these folks. Whoops. Oh, let me get a little. Look at these folks here. How they get there? And what people want to tell you is they'll say idiotic things like, well, this map is 1560, and technically there were already some Africans there by the Spanish, so yeah, that explains that. I said, okay, so what you want to tell me is that people sat here and was always a pale-skinned Siberian, and when a few Africans showed up, they done bred out the whole tribe, you know, because they got that BBC power, you know. And now, when they show up, all they see is niggas. God damn. There's a number of niggas out here. Why would these niggas be out here? Or are they just playing? Because the next thing people will try to say, hey, sorry. The next thing they'll try to say is the people that drew these maps, they weren't eyewitnesses, so whatever they drew can't really be counted. So then I say, so are you telling me that they drew whole maps that people used to get from point A to point B, and those were incorrect because they wasn't eyewitnesses? I also say you think that they didn't witness this with their eyes and actually join the Voyager to draw this at all? You think that they were able to utilize whose written instructions to decipher how all of these intricate little rivers run, the shoreline ridges being the way that they are, the shape of the areas, the name of all these areas and places and whatever, and map it out to a T to where if you was to voyage out there, you can kind of get yourself around there. You want to tell me that these people didn't know what they was doing. They didn't see none of this. And then if you want to tell me that these people were smart enough to draw this map directly to a T with all these rivers and locations and names, places, whatever, and really map that out, because that's kind of hard, especially using the space in and all this other stuff. And then they turned around, drew some people, and they were just playing games when they drew the people on there. Well, let me just do something. Let me just doodle a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let me just have a little fun on the historic cartography that's going out in the world. I'm gonna just draw some nigger Indians up there real fast. It's just an imaginary thing I got in my head. You know what I'm saying? I had to get it out real quick. Like, that's what they want you to believe. And it's for the life of me, I can't understand how far people will let their mind go with the games they have, or the propaganda that they have in their head. I really, for the life of me, can't do that. Kenya, what's up, Kenya? So, what is the other Bible name over where Tennessee and South Carolina is located? Said it's a Bible name where Tennessee and South Carolina is located? I don't know, but I'll zoom in for you a little bit if you can see what you're looking for. Hopefully, you can screenshot. Hopefully, and get what you need. If I ain't going too fast, get your screenshots in. But my bad, I know my finger all in the way. Septuagint. Septuaginalis. What's that? Pars Septuaginalis. I'd have to look up what the pars, if there's pars. It might be pars Septuaginalis. Because this is Florida Pars Orientinalis. So there must be another word that I'm missing. It might be either because there's Pars Septuaginalis. Oh, my bad. America. Okay, there it is. America Pars. Sorry, it is. America Pars Septuaginalis. So it's like spread the hell out. You got Florida Pars Orientalis, and you got America Pars Septuaginalis. Yeah, but that's what you got on that. So, yeah, for sure. You said, hell no, the King's armies and those man map go. Or, yeah. So, like, for those who just coming in, man, I was doing this because I'm about to upload this. I'm gonna upload this live stream as another response to the Gullah Geechee Queen Quet sending a message to me on my video, not too happy, which I'm glad. I'm glad you ain't happy. You shouldn't be happy because I'm out here digging up this truth on your ass. And you got some answers to do. You really need to be going out to the public and apologizing for trying to tie the Geechee word to some Liberian Kisi tribe and then trying to change the spelling of it from K-I-S-S-I to... What is the other one?
And then you had from the same region, the Geechee people, G-I-D-Z-I, which Geechee, which we spell now Geechee, came out of.
So I just had to play that again just so y'all can remember. That's what she said out her mouth. Knowing damn well they said it was the Geechee tribe, and knowing damn well both of them are lies. The Geechee came from Ogeechee, as we all know. You know, these people have been playing games. And that's the whole case. All right, man, I'm about to get off here. My voice is out. So I'm about to get off of here. But I appreciate everybody being in here, sticking with me. I'll probably be doing a live stream early morning. I like doing early morning live streams. They be popping. Like, I be up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And like, I'll go live if it's the day that I don't have like a whole lot to do that morning or something. I might go live for like 3 or 4 hours, and people will stick with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had some people stick with me, and at one point I had 250 some people on that bitch. The last time I went, I was like, damn, 250 people. That's crazy. So I think it has something to do with, like, there's not a whole lot of options for people to go to live streams in the morning. I'm giving y'all my little idea on the sauce. I'm thinking, like, because there's not as many live streams going in the morning, that, you know, my live stream gets sent to a lot more people than, of course, at nighttime, which, you know, a lot of people are already watching the live stream. So, like, I think, say Cuddle Loud, what's good? What up, Akila? Man, you called one, but I'm just done. Unfortunately. My voice is out. I ain't even gonna lie. But yeah, so like in the mornings, you know, I think it sends it'll send your live to a lot more people. Now, it's still up to you to keep their attention, regardless of how many people it send to you. You know, it's up to you to keep their attention, to hold, you know, make them want to stay up in that bitch. So, like, when they got to 250, and for a minute, it hovered there for a cool minute, too. Like, a good at least 20, 30 minutes. That's crazy. Then it just started slow. It only started slowly going down because then somebody reported talking about some bullshit, and it was like, you lost visibility, and I just started slowly watching the number go down. I was like, them hoes, man, y'all some hoes. But it still stayed in the hundreds for a while, you know. So I'll definitely be doing a lot of morning time, and I gained like 100 new followers off of that bitch. I was like, damn, 100 new followers. So it's one thing to not only be able to, like, I might be just kind of lightweight bragging, but it's one thing to kind of you know, catch people's attention and get it, you know what I'm saying, and keep them in there, but to make them all click the motherfucking follow button without even asking. I don't be like, man, y'all ain't out here liking my shit. My show, I'm turning these comments off, nigga. My shit need to be at 120, okay? I'm turning this goddamn shit off. That's what I'm doing. Let me put this right here so I can see what y'all saying. I'm turning this shit off. Yo, it was deep. Appreciate that, Lee. Yeah, Lee was around a lot for that one. For that one and for this one. I hate when folks do that. It's still easily, yeah. Yeah, I'm like, look at my likes right now. My likes is at 35,000, and I ain't never asked nobody for shit. You know, and that's the way I live my life too. Like, I don't like asking people for shit. Like, I don't like asking for, I don't know. Like, back in the day, I remember, like, I used to work at a call center when I was younger. And they used to try to make you do, like, a little ending at the call. And you had to get people to, you had to ask them, can you please rate me a 5? If you think my service was good, if I helped you and I resolved all your issues for the day. Yeah, I used to hate that shit. My manager would always hate when they got to do me like a little coaching session because they gonna listen to my calls, and my calls I'm not gonna say that shit. But I would typically get good results because I would just do good work. I would always tell them, Why do I need to ask these motherfuckers if I did them good work? If I just do good work, motherfuckers will know. What you bullshitting me? You know what I'm saying? Why I gotta go begging for a goddamn 5 on the motherfuckers? Well, you gotta let them know, Sam, because they could understand that it's not coming from you. It's about, yeah. So you gotta let them know it's about you. And so what would happen is, every once in a blue moon, I may get a bad one, you know. And even those ones, like, they'll say, like, this is about the company, and I just had to blah, blah, blah. And they be like, well, Sam, I know they said it was about the company, and it had nothing to do with you, but did you actually do the ending like we told you to do? I'd be like, yeah, nigga, get the fuck out of here. The nigga literally said in the voice message, it ain't got nothing to do with Sam, but because I didn't say the motherfucking ending, you gonna write a nigga up or something. You know, these niggas, boy, I had to get up at that bitch. I was like, y'all can suck a dick, man. Y'all can really suck what, boy? Playing games in these motherfucking places. I'm sorry that some people got to deal with that shit, man, but it is what it is, you know, like, I just, you know, and I'm the same way on here now. Like, I can't ask people for anything, you know, and I'm, you know, I get it. I'm giving y'all the game. You know, I'm out here putting time and research, putting these things together, going out. Even now, like, going through all these receipts and making, like I said, I'm making albums for all the receipts. So, like, now I can, like, be organized and actually work on my damn, the purpose of this was to work on the Geechee documentary, which is funny that Queen Quet did this, because now she's on my radar. Now I really want to finish this Geechee documentary, and I was really doing this to go through all my receipts to make sure that I got all the Geechee receipts saved. But I was like, I might as well go through everything and organize them all. And in many cases, I have other documentaries planned, so they're all organized in different folders as well. And my thing, you know, some people do books, and I think the book thing is hella cool. My thing is going to be to do documentaries and, you know, to hopefully be able to get people to, you know, watch and just really be informed. My documentary is going to be super receipt based, you know, facts in your face with me talking my shit. And some interviews here and there on some of them. But, like, it's got to be always facts being shown. You know, a lot of these documentaries, if you go look at a lot of Geechee documentaries or other little documentaries, a lot of it's just like B-roll or people doing random things and they telling the story. Ain't nobody showing nothing. People don't really actually show you nothing. But then when they do show you something, they'll be like playing games, kind of like that Opala thing. He was playing games. He was out there acting like he was going from village to village, talking like a goddamn gullah Jamaican and fake ass Jamaican and just, you know. There's another thing, but I if I keep getting into it, I keep talking and my voice is about to be gone. So I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy your night.